Welcome to another episode of the Animoguls. I'm Megabucks.
And I'm Tycoon.
Today on the Animoguls, we're going to be discussing Disney babies. So Tycoon, which Disney baby should we start with?
Let's start with Tarzan.
Now, baby Tarzan, he was really cute. He had the most adorable voice of any Disney baby. The entire time he and Kala were getting chased by Sabor the leopard, he was like, huh? And when he got older, they gave Tarzan this strong jawline. But back when he was a baby, he had a lot of puppy fat. It's a good thing Tarzan enjoyed exercise, because he had his work cut out for him. I guess it all worked out though. I mean, look at the difference between the jarring before and after photo.
The best part about Tarzan's story was that, if you think about it, babies act like animals a lot of the time. So with all the grunting and squeaking he was doing as an infant, it wasn't that hard for Tarzan to fit in with the apes. In fact, he was the perfect substitute for Kala's baby.
When you look at the movie, you can see that Tarzan's hair color is the same shade as Kala's fur. So really, baby Tarzan is just an ape that's balding everywhere except for the top of his head.
They could be related. But you know, even if that's true, Kerchak would never accept Tarzan as his own. He'll probably think that Kala cheated on him with a human. And they had Tarzan, you know, a half ape, half human baby. Kerchak's probably thinking, who's the daddy?
Maybe Kerchak found out that he was impotent and he couldn't have any more kids. So that baby he had with Kala was literally his last shot at fatherhood. But then the leopard ate that baby and Kala was devastated. I guess she wanted to be a mother so desperately that she turned to another man, or a human in this case.
Yeah. And you know, in vitro's not an option on the east coast of Africa in 1889. So Kerchak and Kala skipped the lines at the Mediclinic and adopted. They were forward-thinking. So, the next baby is baby Merida from Brave.
Baby Merida was adorable, but when she grew up, all these weird things started happening to her head. It was kind of like her head was a helium balloon and they filled it with way too much air. Then they placed the giant beach ball head on a bigger body and called it a night.
Yeah, her neck was way too thin. It was like a straw. There was no way it could have supported such a ginormous head. She looked much cuter as a baby than as an adult.
Oh yeah, I mean, when she was little, her hair was this big orange cloud surrounding her tiny body. It looked really cute, but then, she got older and it was like she just couldn't be bothered to brush the tangles out of her hair. I guess she was so obsessed with archery that she lost interest in basic hygiene.
So what did you think of baby Rapunzel?
Okay, baby Rapunzel was really cute, but her hair was so thick for a baby. I mean, how did she not get brain damage? Babies can't even hold up their own heads when they're born. Imagine a baby having to hold up that head of hair.
She was still really cute though. She even had that swoop curl thing going on. Kinda like a shorter version of Ariel's swoop.
You know what's annoying? In Disney's fairy tale movies, it's mandatory to start the movie with a clip of the main character as a child. We saw it in Frozen, we saw it in Tangled, The Princess and the Frog.
Definitely. It's not always needed. I mean, imagine if we'd seen baby Pocahontas.
Or baby Esmeralda, it wouldn't have worked out. The past is not always relevant to every character's current story.
Absolutely. There was no need for us to see baby Kristoff in Frozen. At least Anna and Elsa's childhood flashback was relevant to the plot, because Anna's accident is what led to Elsa distancing herself from her sister. What was the point of showing Kristoff as a child?
Showing Kristoff as a child was especially irrelevant. The directors used the establishing shot to tell us he's orphaned and that he has to raise himself. Then halfway through the movie, they decided the trolls raised him. So now the problem is not that he has no family, it's just that he doesn't have a human family. I think they were just trying to create a 6 degrees of separation thing between Kristoff and Anna.
I have a question. Since Kristoff was raised by the trolls, how come he speaks English or Norwegian, which is what he's supposed to be speaking since Frozen is set loosely in Norway? Like Mowgli and Tarzan, Kristoff was also raised by animals. So he should speak or whatever language trolls speak.
Yeah, the weird thing is that the trolls also speak Norwegian. I mean, since they were the ones who told Elsa and Anna's dad about Elsa's powers. So I guess Kristoff learned Norwegian at Troll Junior High.
Going back to baby Rapunzel for a minute though, if the Queen of Corona hadn't had magical golden flower soup for lunch the day before she gave birth, baby Rapunzel would have been a brunette from the start.
And what a difference hair color can make. The brown hair has definitely aged baby Rapunzel a bit. She looks older than her blonde counterpart. But on the right side, she looks a lot more like her mother.
I have another question.
Okay.
This one's about the size of baby Rapunzel's head. I mean, how big is it? Because the same tiara she wears at 18 seems to fit baby Rapunzel's head almost as well.
You know, I don't get it either. They should have had a baby-sized tiara made when she was young so she could wear it properly and then have her fitted for a new one every few years. That would have been the smart thing to do, but you know, they were first-time parents, they were still learning the ropes.
I also want to know how they decided the final tiara size. I mean, did they measure her head as a baby, multiply it by 18, and then have the tiara made? Or is it a one-size-fits-all tiara?
I guess we'll never know. Let's hope that they answer these important questions in the upcoming Tangled TV show.
Back to Disney babies. They never showed Belle as a baby, but they did show Kida from Atlantis as a child. That was a smart move, because Kida was old enough to remember her mother being taken away from her, which was important to the plot.
Let's talk about Tiana for a second, because we get to see her as a child at the beginning of The Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, I guess seeing Tiana as a child made sense. We see her learning to cook from her father, and then when she grows up and he's no longer around, she wants to fulfill his dream of owning a restaurant.
I think that plot point would have worked even better if they'd shown that Tiana became this hardworking individual over time. I mean, how many children do you know who are born hardworking? It's not very realistic. Instead, it would be better if maybe she didn't believe in hard work at first, but when she saw her father, she was inspired. Maybe the importance of hard work only hit her after her father was gone. That would have been more poignant. Instead, they show Tiana as this pragmatic child who has her mind made up about what she likes or doesn't like. She's an old soul. She's not open to new things, you know, like most kids are. She hates frogs. She doesn't want to kiss them. I mean, it's not like I condone kissing animals, but to quote Queen Eleanor from Brave, how'd you know you don't like it if you haven't tried it?
When I first saw The Princess and the Frog, I instantly gravitated towards Lottie. She was cute, she was bubbly, she was lovable, but flawed. I know I was supposed to root for Tiana. They made her prettier than Lottie and gave her all these good qualities that we're supposed to admire. But basically, she's a downer. She brought the party down even as a kid, long before she gained a rep as being the hardest working person in New Orleans.
Absolutely.
That concludes part 1 of our discussion on Disney babies. Tune in next week for part 2 where we discuss Dumbo, Hercules, and Simba as babies. Thanks for watching The Animoguls.